Go live, go live, go live
Go live
button.
button.
Go live, go live, live, boy.
Wait,
You
are we
wonder
on
why?
already? Hold on.
I'm
I'm
so
so
cool.
cool.
Do we check?
Don't ask me. Do
Just
what you do.
Oh, yeah.
meet me in the
Okay.
tram. It's going down. Meet me in the park. It's
Let me know
going
when we're
down.
live.
I'm live in
Oh,
direct from the Korpsx collection.
Going live right now in 2 seconds.
still being touched by God.
3, a 2. How
I
Plastic pigs,
know
bro.
you
They're all
see
fucking-
sometimes a word might change for me and be so wonderful. Do you guys know what that is?
So wonderful. No, I don't.
What? That's crazy. Save, do you know what that is?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, it's too late. You gotta play back the VOD.
So I know what is. Just ask me the fucking
Bliggity,
question.
bliggity, bliggity, bliggity,
Well,
play
the
it.
question
Jack.
pertained to the song that I sang.
Ooh, appertaining.
You
Hey,
just
fool,
don't
don't get all
the lyric?
fucking educational with your lingo here, doll.
Can you just say
I've
the lyric?
been A1, bro. I've been a maester up in here, okay?
Maester, shut up.
Nah, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
I'm talking about in the context of Game of Thrones maester, by the way.
I don't know the song lyric.
That's okay.
I feel like you're whispering to me.
Hello?
Do you feel like that, Corpse? Do you feel like he's whispering today?
A little bit.
I'm a little low energy because
Me too. Honestly, I was
right,
falling asleep.
right before this podcast, the food that I ate like hit the stomach in a way that I don't know if it's gonna sit well, and I might have a code brown on the pod and have to run out real
Hey,
quick.
yo, Code
Damn,
Brown.
what'd you eat?
Wild.
We had sliders. We had like sloppy Joe or like pulled pork sliders. They were really good.
Sliders,
A
sliders.
little more toasty than you might want, but actually really good.
Did
I
you
don't
make
know,
them?
though. We did make them, yeah. They were good. Yesterday
I
we
mean,
had
it's okay.
salmon.
I've taken a shit on the fucking on the podcast before. I was gonna say on the sandwich before.
I'm not talking about a shit. I'm talking about like a mudslide. That's what
Whoa.
That's a, bro.
Mudslide.
Mm-hmm.
Mudslide? That is crazy descriptions,
Diabolical.
bro.
Sounds like a dessert to me.
That's whoa.
That's a mud pie.
Whoa.
Mudslide is definitely a dessert as well.
Is
that just that is crazy. You saying that sounds like a dessert after knowing. After knowing.
After knowing what I'm talking about. Just another usual Tuesday. Exactly.
Just another one.
Mudslide dessert. Mudslide dessert.
I mean, what? There's got to be a name.
Oh no,
of
it's a
this-
drink.
Mr.
It's a drink. It's a
Key
drink.
Oh.
It's a drink.
Bind sun controlled.
What?
Mr. Key Mr. Key binds uncontrolled.
Is that the guy who just commented?
Yeah, Mr. Key binds
His
uncontrolled.
his name was
Mr.
so
Key
jumbled
binds-
I didn't even try.
He binds uncontrolled. That's Jordan.
Jordan,
You
What's up,
say?
Jordan?
you're a good man.
Yeah, I told you. That's his Twitch. That's his Twitch handle. Oh man, we gave him that, or we made such a fun joke about his keybinds that he wound up naming himself Mr. Keybinds. It's so fucking funny.
What the fuck is a key bind?
Like what you press on the keyboard in order to do something in a video game. Let me just put it to you like this. Normal video games, you press WASD to move around.
WASD.
B to move forward, A to move left, S to move right, D to move backwards. Jordan said, fuck all that. I'm using EDSF. And
He
we
just
were like,
shifted him to the right.
well, we were like, why the fuck are you going to do that? And he said, oh, because the little knob is on F, and that's how we learn how to type. So my fingers automatically go there. And I was like,
Smart.
although that makes sense,
Low key,
you're just,
Jordan.
now you're just pushing your fingers away from everything else that you use. And the one thing that we always gave him a hard time about was, let me ask you this. Zero, you play video games on keyboard and mouse.
I do.
What is spacebar 100% of the time used for?
It's always for jump.
Jumping. Not for Jordan.
What is it?
Spacebar was for his map.
Oh wow! What is this
And he-
jump?
It was like tied to his like mouse key 5 or something like that.
Oh shit! That's crazy.
or scroll wheel or something weird like that. So
Yo, Jordan,
we had to give him a hard time for that.
I kind of got your back, like, because that is smart. The home row keys, or the home key being F.
Yeah,
That's
I get
smart.
that.
Low
That's
key.
smart. That's
But
smart.
changing the space bar is a little diabolical and not okay.
No. Stop hyping this man up. That shit was the most retarded shit I've ever.
I would have done like V.
I might do it.
If
V.
If F was right there for that reasons, I think logically I would have thought like if S, D, F, and E, right, were those directionals, I would go, and if he did space for his map, I'll do like V then, because my finger's just right there. You know what I'm saying? Like it just drops down. Boom.
You could do shift. You could do shift is usually like sprint. Space bar has to be the jump, and then you could like caps lock.
No, because you can't use V. You can't use V to use your middle finger has to be the only one moving for your directional.
But think about also
up
like
and down.
your R is right there for like a reload type game, depending on what it is.
R is reload. Q and E are typically for.
Why is that a rule?
R
Why
is
is that a
right
rule?
there. R is like
what a rule?
Right,
why is the middle finger for your directional a rule? Why is that a thing?
Middle finger's up and down, like forward.
So you can be straight. So you can
always.
strafe. So like if you want to move a directional way.
Yeah, you keep these two.
You keep your middle finger on either up or down, and then your A, like you move with A and D
right
to
left.
move sideways.
Oh, okay. Because I'm not too hip on the keyboard gaming. I'm not. So okay, that makes sense though. So that like, oh, it's super analog in its movement then, huh? Like you have to literally be pressing one, then press the other to make it go. Like
you get real dynamic movements though, because you combine the two. You always have the ability to do either direction. It's really cool.
And like plus your mouse moving around as well. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Usual Tuesday podcast. Sorry for the lack of an intro within the first 5 minutes. Welcome back, guys. Sorry about last week. I had to take care of Peanut. You know, it was a little wonky of a week, but we're back. Episode 90.
yes,
Halfway through the year.
yes.
Fuck. This year's going by kind of fast.
We say that every year.
Yes,
I say that every day.
Yes, yes, we do, and I do as well, brother. Because the time is flying.
Sorry, an old viewer just popped in. What's up, Motion? Yo, shout out to Motion, bro.
Motion.
Shout out
Motion.
for a long time.
Hey.
What's up, Motion?
See,
Said,
small
"What's up,
fact,
Monk?"
Zero used to stream like all the fucking time. Actual stream.
Stream. Just chats.
No, then Damien decided to get older and not stream anymore.
I like streaming. I just can't devote the time to it. I did like streaming a lot. I always say that I want to go back to it, but I just need to devote the time to it.
I'm on the same
like
boat, bro. I
It's
miss
fun.
that shit so much. I'll like watch clips of me because I used to do just chatting in the beginning of my stream for like 30 minutes.
Just
And I'll
chats
like,
are fun.
and I used to I went back and watched some videos, and we just had so much fun. Like me and my community just had a fucking blast. I would talk shit, and I would eat Charmander's ass, and like people would just send me money for the dumbest shit. But you never seen me eat Charmander's ass? You never seen clips of me eating Charmander's ass?
I have. It's
I've
just
seen that.
very crazy to hear you say out loud.
it just became like a thing on my channel, and Jordan loved that shit. Like he knew, because the story behind it was I got really fucking mad one time and I like ate Charmander's ass, and then I started playing better. So like anytime, Jordan's the one who started it, and so anytime like I would be doing bad and get frustrated, Jordan knew it was like time for Charmander's ass to get ate. Or if I needed like good luck, I would like sing to Charmander and kiss him and shit. I was also very lonely at the time and didn't have a woman in my life and shit like that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Interesting. I would say at least.
Don't judge me for the things I've done in my past, all right?
I
remember there was a stream that sorry, was I interrupting you, Fudge?
No.
Oh. I was gonna say, I remember there was one stream where I had like 10 people in the chat and it was so fun. We ended up on a random, I think it was like a live Las Vegas broadcast of the Sphere. And there were people actively chatting in this live broadcast. And I was like, I don't think we had more viewers, but we had more active chatters. And so I was like, bro, we have to raid this live stream. And so I copied the link, posted it on my channel. I was like, everybody go there and just start rolling this shit. And it was fun. We had a couple of people just start to like spam the chat, and I thought it was so fun. I wasn't trying to be like, "Yo, sub up." I was like, "Don't do that." I think I remember being like, "Don't do that. That shit is kind of cringe." Just like flood it with whatever. And that shit was so fun.
I don't know if I ever told you, D, or I don't even know if I ever shared. I think I may have shared this on the pod once. But I started kind of like I started gaining traction on Facebook, right? And I thought I was doing fairly well for myself. I was still a very small streamer, but I was doing fairly well. So I think on either Fridays or Saturdays, I would like load up my fucking. So on Twitch it's bits, on Kick it's something else, and then on Facebook it's stars, right? So I would like load up like 100, 150, 200 stars to give out. And then like I wouldn't even play video games. We would the community would get together. I would do 30 minutes of just chatting. And then we would go find small ass streamers, like 0 to 5 viewers. And then we would just make them do weird shit to give them stars. Like push-ups or like, hey, if you get a kill within the next 3 minutes, like I'll send you stars. And that actually hit, bro. Like it was tight as fuck. I met a lot of cool streamers on the platform. One of the guys now has like 100,000 followers or some shit like that. He's fucking huge. His name's Rumbledore. Like he's fucking sick.
Rumbledore, that's dope.
Yeah, he's like big Harry Potter. He's like, "What's up, all you witches and wizards?" Like, bro, like he's cool. He's sick as fuck, bro. Yeah, there you go. It would be on Fridays. Yeah, bro, and it was just fun. We would do fun. Like I want to get back to that style of streaming. I had so much fucking fun doing that. Finding small streamers. We would find small streamers in like Australia, like just random places. I remember this one kid. He was like his star goal was to try and get like a microphone or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I wound up just giving him all the money for his. I was like, "Go get your microphone, man. Like, do your streaming thing."
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because I got lucky enough to be introduced to a big streamer on Facebook that I got a large following from. So it just felt right to give back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still remember that too.
It was fun.
I think you did tell me you got in a lobby with him, right? Isn't that how you guys met?
No. So what he did is he did something kind of similar to what I did, but he would play a game of Warzone with them. And I had just started streaming on Facebook. He pulled up my page, and then all of my chat just started saying like, fuck, what the fuck was his name?
Something
I don't remember.
War Pig or fucking.
No, Go Pig is my homie. I don't remember who it was, but we flooded him into 20K stars. He got $200 from us out of that night. But yeah, they were like, "Oh, this guy wants to play with you," and I was like, "I don't even know who this fucking guy is." So I looked him up, and I saw that he was live, and he had he had a big following too. So I left my lobby, played a game with him. We didn't win, but I wound up making a shit ton of fucking. Wait, who are you talking about, Jordan? Are you talking about me that night? Because I made $200 that night too playing video games. But anyways, yeah. So I was like, might as well just give back. And Facebook was a cool place to stream at that time. It was a very cool place to stream because you could it was on the app. You know what I mean? You could share it. I just like the integration of all the kid would need the mic. Oh yeah. So we wound up giving that kid $200 that night to go get a microphone and stuff.
That's dope.
That's sick. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like the communities from Facebook, especially to like YouTube, drastically different, bro. I feel like you don't really hear about people doing that on the gaming pages on like YouTube and shit, or even like Twitch. Really, like I feel like Facebook's always had a really weird spot, like a good one, but just like different. Like they're just
the engagement is cool, is what I like about it, right? Because if you think about it from the streaming standpoint with video games, people would either donate or like type in the chat in order for the streamer to get a chance to see their name. And for some reason, people just feel really nice when the person that they're watching on camera says their name. Whereas so Facebook, if you share the page, if you like even if you just come in and like it, like your name automatically pops up. So it's like that validation type of thing. You know what I mean? And it gives people a chance to like, they don't have to chat. They don't have to donate. All they have to do is leave a reaction on the stream. And it gives them that form of like their togetherness. That's what I really like from Facebook. And, like Like, think about it like this: you shared my live stream, and Jordan wound up finding me. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like an interweb of like, oh, like some such and such that I know shared this. It might be something that they're interested in. Let me pop on it real fast.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
dope.
But Facebook has fallen off since then. YouTube tried to pull big name streamers from other platforms
They
to make
gave
their platform big,
contracts. Mhm.
and to me it just fell off. Like, YouTube gaming kind of sucks ass. Twitch is still gonna hold on strong. Kick is the conglomerate right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do wish I do wish there to be a time for me to go back and like really set up a nice streaming setup and get back to streaming video games. I just need to find a game, like a good game to be solid on.
You think realistically Twitch and Kick are the kind of biggest two that are head to head right now? Like I don't
Absolutely. They're
I
the
can't
only
think
two.
like yeah, Rumble tried. I think they became accidentally like the conservative hub where a lot of conservative voices at least went to like go be. I think Crowder's on there and stuff like that. And then
Well, just because they didn't
they
don't
didn't ban people or like
yeah, they don't ban, and they don't like what's that other shit called? Censors. There's
Censor.
no censoring. Yeah.
sure, yeah.
Merc, baby.
But like yeah, I guess there's not too many. I know I think what was it, Microsoft tried to Mixer, Facebook.
That's what I
mean,
first started streaming on.
Mixer?
yeah.
Was Mixer,
On
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
But
wild.
then they killed it off. So here's the thing that made Facebook fuck. I'm sorry to get into the politics, and I know we don't want to talk about this whole stream, but basically the politics on Facebook was the goal was to get a contract with Facebook, right? And you become a partner with Facebook, and they pay you no matter what, and then all your stars and shit and your advertisement revenue
It's
goes
just
to
extra.
you. So the goal is to get partnership, or the goal for me was to get partnership, but the goal for most people on Facebook is to get partnership. When Mixer ended their run and they got bought out, Facebook automatically gave anybody that was on Mixer partnership.
Oh whoa.
So there would be people that had less viewers than I did, but they had a contract with Facebook and would automatically get paid.
That's wild.
And then the other biggest thing was it was the terms and services of streaming on Facebook that you could not like stream any exploitations or cheating. And then there was a bunch of people that would have hundreds and thousands of viewers that were blatantly cheating. Like they had the cheats on their screen, and then there was a couple of them that made partner. So that's when Facebook kind of started turning me off, and they started like taking down some of my streams because of nudity. Like, and I'm like fully clothed. There's nothing going on.
That
and
happened
like
on the podcast. Remember
oh
that
yeah,
was-
it happened on the podcast before. Yeah, like
Yeah.
so they would start like shadow banning you, and that's ultimately why I started streaming on YouTube as well.
Wait, we've gotten shadow banned because of the podcast?
Save
on
stream.
my stream. That's why I stopped streaming that's why I stopped streaming the podcast.
That's not why.
Low key.
Because well, I don't know if long term, but the I remember that they had taken your thing down, but the only thing that really was behind you was like a picture of Peanut, I think, on a TV. And I think they were mistaken, like maybe like an elbow, I think, in the pic. I don't know what they could have.
Yeah, but ultimately I stopped streaming on Facebook. Like I stopped streaming the podcast because I didn't want to keep like getting taken down, and also I didn't like that I couldn't transition from the podcast straight into video games and like cut and make it two different things like you can on Twitch. Like change headings and shit like that. So now I just stream after the podcast.
I know you stream on YouTube. Are you also streaming on Kick and Twitch?
No, I just stream on Facebook right now. Facebook and YouTube until I get my own spot again, and then I will push heavy on Kick and TikTok.
TikTok.
I jumped into Putch's live on TikTok once. That was cool. You were doing music recommendations.
Yes.
And
That
I
shit's
said
fun.
too. Oh,
Yes.
have either of you heard? I already know the answer actually. Have any of you heard the John Bellion album?
I haven't even heard the Carter 6 yet, bro. I promised you I would not listen to the Carter 6 until I listened to the John Bellion, and I just have not listened to it.
It's a good album.
It was cool. I listened to it loosely, and then the Carter just sucked. But the John Bellingham one, I listened to it loosely. It was cool.
Okay.
Vibey.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
I just want to dedicate the whole. Like, I don't want to have to stop listening to it and go back to it. I want to like listen to it
all the one.
all at
I
once.
feel
Yeah.
I feel like the Bellion album, you can go into it, but it is okay to like listen to it kind of a little bit more passively. Although I've like watched interviews with him, so I could like I like the content of it a little bit more. But it is a vibe. I think overall I like it.
You're a
It is
vibe,
fun
daddy-o.
And you're definitely a fan of his. So
Oh, I
think,
love his. I love
yeah.
his
A
stuff.
fan is
What
like,
he's, bro, what he stands for, like I don't know his message. I love everything he's done so far.
bro, D would like tickle his tip if he could.
Yeah, bro. Little low key.
Yo.
No, not actually, but no, he's cool. He's cool.
All right,
Whatever.
so hit me with what you hit me with. Hit us with what you hit us with in the group chat, Putch, because I have a question about one of them.
So
I don't know if I really understood it.
So as you guys know, I sent several, but
The last two, the last one is the one I have the question about. But however you want to get into it.
So the first one is: would you rather be a guy who works 2 jobs and gives little time to your significant other, or would you rather work a part-time job and spend more time with your significant other but have less money to provide financially? The second one was a conversation between setting boundaries versus correcting toxic traits and red flags.
I think I'm the second one in both instances.
What?
Well, the setting boundaries versus correcting toxic traits and red flags. So,
Yes, I have a question about that one.
what's your question? What's your question?
Read it how you wrote it one more time.
Setting boundaries versus correcting toxic traits and red flags.
All right, so remember we had a whole podcast about boundaries.
He doesn't like boundaries.
He hates
Pudge.
boundaries.
No. I've
He's
since
boundless.
then changed like my point of view
He
on
didn't
boundaries.
vote
and
for
it makes
Trump
sense.
because a wall is a boundary.
No. Because I think but aren't those like similar? Aren't
What's
they
that?
similar?
What?
Creating a boundary and fixing a toxic trait, is that not similar?
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking.
I would say no.
I'm not saying that they are. I'm just asking, aren't they?
Yes. Yes, I think a personal toxic trait and a personal red flag for some people is that they don't know how to set boundaries. And they don't know how to set boundaries on not only on themselves, but on others.
But is a toxic trait not subjective?
I think there are some objective toxic traits, but some
There
of
is
them might be toxic.
Definitely some objectively toxic traits.
Some might be subjective, but I think there are some that are objectively, yes. Toxic.
Okay, for example, let's say this. I parade let's just say, example. I parade myself. I parade myself as this straight edge young man who won't allow his girlfriend to partake in any kind of consumption of anything, but I will smoke weed with my friends, right?
Oh yeah, that's what the fuck are we doing?
I think that's it's like, and it becomes a very subjective toxic trait, right? Where it says, well, I don't want you doing it, right? Because one, you're a girl, whatever, right? And then it becomes even more toxic once you start diving into this idea of, well, it's just weed, and oh, it just helps me this. It's like, well, whoa, dog. First off, don't be telling somebody what they can and can't do, right? Like that's kind of, let's start there. But then second, if you're going to tell them they can't do it, then you shouldn't be doing it. Point blank.
Cisco did not like that phrasing.
No, I don't. I don't like that. I don't like that phrasing. And this is the same issue that we had when we had the boundary conversation. Creating a boundary is basically telling somebody what they can and can't do.
No, well, really quick. I think the reason I think these are so different is because correcting, I think, is very active, and a boundary in my head is very inactive, where a boundary will be like a lot of self a lot of self like reflection and acknowledgement of my limitations and what I'm willing to put up with. A boundary has more to do with what I'm willing to put up with or handle versus what like somebody else is actively doing. I'm not going to tell you you can't do that, but if you're going to do that, I'm going to act differently in my life, whether that be with or without you if it's that drastic, or there are certain things that I need to do.
So then, at what point is it fair to say boundaries? This is where it gets so fucking tricky for me, bro. At what point is it okay to say boundaries? Like, how late into a relationship can you set boundaries?
It's
Where
never
until
as
it
late as you
hold on until it becomes fixing a toxic trait. Because think about it like this, right? I can completely understand. I go out on a date with somebody, right? I go out on a date with somebody. They're like, hey, like a non-negotiable for me is like somebody that smokes weed every day. Let's just use that one, right?
Sure.
Because Korpsx brought that up. Non-negotiable for me is like somebody that smokes weed every day.
Like you can't do it. Is that what
Like,
you're saying?
Yeah, like I'm just not gonna be with somebody that just smokes
Okay.
weed every day.
That's
Like,
a boundary,
there's days, yeah, like there's days I want you to be clear-headed, and I just want
Just chill,
yeah. And but I understand like there's people that smoke weed, but a non-negotiable for me is somebody that smokes weed every day. As opposed to now you're 6 months into a relationship, and they're like, hey, you know what? I can't be with you anymore if you're gonna smoke weed every day.
I think that's fine. I think both situations are perfectly fine.
I'm not saying they're not fine, D. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Oh, what is
one not setting a boundary and the other trying to fix a toxic trait?
Both,
No.
in my opinion, are setting a boundary.
So I kind of see it as, see, and this is why I like this conversation. So
I hate this conversation. Bro.
I think it's important. I just think it's so important, right? Because the boundary, I love the boundary you set. You say, hey, you can't smoke weed every day. And if Putchy was looking across the table,
you can't smoke weed every day is telling somebody what they can and can't do, though.
I'm not going to be with somebody who's going to smoke weed every day, right? So I need to digest that as partner, as yo, I can't be smoking weed every day if I want to be with this person, if I want to have them in my life, right? I think that's a cool boundary, and I think that's a cool expectation to also have of your partner. That's perfectly fair, right? Now, I think that
everything is fucking fair, but okay.
I think it's. Some people will say it's not fair. To me, it's perfectly fair.
Nah, there are things that are not fair where I'm like, all right, bro. What?
I don't think it's fair if I'm smoking weed and I tell my partner that they can't smoke weed. I think that's unfair, and I think that's very toxic.
People
right?
will say that's your opinion, and that's a fair opinion to have. I'm just saying, bro. Like
that is true. That is true.
No, but it doesn't take away the fact that the original opinion is not fair. That's like just blatantly like unfair. It's like, oh, I can go to the clubs, but you can't have like girls' night, book club, whatever the fuck.
See,
like,
I think
bro, what the fuck are we talking about?
See, because even let's take this a little different, because I think this is a little easier for me to paint out this way with a boundary. I think there's certain boundaries that we set with our ex-partners, right? Whether we have kids with them or not, there's certain boundaries that we have with them, right? Especially if we're going to be pursuing a new person, and a new person is going to have to understand the boundaries that not only that we've set with them, but that we're having to set with them as well. There's a certain boundary there, right? Like, yeah, we can have discussions around, my kid's mom, but don't talk disrespectfully, right? Like, that's what we're not going to do. That's a certain boundary we got, right? Some people would say that's normal respect, whatever. Hey, let's just call it boundary, right?
Some people would join in on the talking shit.
Because there's our little boundary. And I think when we start talking about correcting toxic traits, right? I think it's an odd conversation, right? Because it always seems though as if whoever sets the boundary, the other person has a toxic trait they need to correct. Where I think sometimes, save to your point, this is why I thought this was going to be a good conversation, is sometimes you set enough boundaries until you create your own prison. And you just keep drawing a smaller and smaller circle, but there's no correction to your behaviors to where that circle might be able to extend a little bit. You get what I'm saying? Like
No, I need an example because I have no idea. Like, I'm not picking up what you're putting down at all.
So let's take the boyfriend and girlfriend example, right? We set a certain boundary, right? Let's say we're perfectly normal people, we've never been cheated on, whatever, right? Um and we'll set a boundary that looks a certain way with our partner in regards to their ex-partners, right? Especially if they might still work with them or they have close family friends, right? There's a certain boundary there. Now, let's say I've cheated in my lifetime or my partner has been cheated on in their lifetime, right? Let's take both those and let's put them in a couple.
Punch is cooking right now, bro.
That boundary is going to look a certain way now. Where before the person who has never done wrong, but has been done wrong too, that circle is now shrinking. And the person who has done wrong, and they can't, like, I don't want to say that they can't do it, but I feel like a lot of the times we have a hard time because of society. We're not able to let go of the guilt of what we've done, so we allow our boundaries to come smaller and smaller all the time along with it, even though we may have a full intention of being better, doing better, correcting toxic traits, correcting the things that we've done in the past. Does that make more sense? Am I making more sense now? Did I cook a little bit with that? Did I bake?
You were cooking and then you turned the fire off and you lost me again. Like,
The fucking
give me-
soup is cold, Punch.
yeah, like give me an
I'm sorry,
example,
I'm just
bro.
kidding.
Give me you were like setting up to give examples and then you just didn't give any examples. Like, give me examples of boundaries that you're saying,
so a boundary,
this
okay,
boundary,
so
then this boundary, then this boundary, and now you're
but what would a boundary
confined in
so,
this circle of
use your
boundaries.
use your own imagination. What would you think even a fucking boundary between somebody who got cheated
Wait.
on versus somebody who's a cheater? You put them in a relationship, what would that boundary be like?
I need to very quickly, because I just
Use
came
the
up with an
bathroom.
example of
Oh.
why finishing movies and shows and actually directors having like a fleshed out story is good. Because
No.
it's like, imagine
No.
your own ending bullshit doesn't work. Punch
No.
and save. Fuck both
No.
of you.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I disagree with you. Inception's
I'm just
ending
kidding.
was perfect.
It was. I liked Inception. It's good. I don't like that there's like I think he's still in the dream. I don't think he is. Fuck out of here,
No,
bro.
that's the
Tell me if
beauty
the top.
of those types of movies.
I need a behind the scenes and the director being like, "Oh, the top actually does fall, bro." I need
Well,
that.
because you say,
You don't
okay,
need that.
you put somebody who's been cheated on versus somebody who has cheated. You put them in a relationship together. Now you can even begin to imagine what those boundaries might look like, right? Oh, well, hey, since you have this past, X, Y, and Z, and oh, and this has happened to me, so I'm gonna need X, Y, and Z. And so to me, again, I say, there's this thing of, okay, we could set a boundary right here, right? But there's also this toxic trait that we've developed inside of ourselves of being overly suspicious, right? Or maybe we're a little too quick to give in to some kind of demand from somebody that we've done nothing to. Like, I've done nothing to betray your trust. Why are you treating me like this? Like, maybe that person, I was honest enough to tell you that I've done this thing in my past, and now you're still treating me a certain way.
Sounds
right?
like you gaslighting, dog.
Would you
No,
want
I'm,
to?
joking. I'm fucking with you.
I think I know what you're saying, but the examples that would be set for something like this, I think those couples would be very unlikely to like be long term. Because if I'm gonna like take a super extreme example, we're like, let's say there's a couple, right? We'll take a boyfriend girlfriend, and then let's say the girlfriend is like, I don't want to, as a boundary, she says, it's like, I don't want to subscribe to like overly feminine, so I'm not going to be like very promiscuous, and I'm also not going to clean and cook. Like, you're just not getting that out of me. And then the male is like, well, I think that's pretty
Corpsx is like,
valuable.
bye.
I was like, I think that's pretty valuable. It adds value to my life, and I think it would work better as a unit if I do some things and you do some things. And then let's say he has a boundary of like, I'm not going to be overly, what is it, like masculine in the sense of like providing absolutely everything for you in that sense. And both of these like figures kind of come head to head, and they don't like mix well anyway, is what I'm saying. is that like these partners wouldn't necessarily like be long term either way. They would kind of just like, all right, we're just not going to be together, right? I feel like if they wanted the
I
opposite.
wouldn't subscribe to that at all.
I
Actually,
don't know, bro. This is where it gets kind of hard to me, right? Because boundaries is like a newer type thing for me when it comes to that type of shit. Maybe just because I started dating late in my 20s, you know. But to me, if you have a motherfucker and another motherfucker, and one motherfucker is like, I got cheated on and it really hurt me, and this is how it happened, and like why I feel the way that I do, then the other motherfucker should automatically be like, well, then let me make sure that doesn't happen. Like the word boundary shouldn't even have to come to me. The word boundary shouldn't even have to come up. Like just give it once you start to get to know somebody, you should understand them enough to be like, oh yeah, this probably wouldn't work for them. This probably
That's like
shouldn't be.
I think that works on the broad, but this is like a gradient circle where like there are some instances where you just like will fuck up. And I'm not saying that the word boundary and I think like how it works in relationships, it really just describes like a thing. It isn't a thing. It describes the thing that happens in the relationship. I think people move on in life and they're like, you know what? I actually don't like when my partner does X, Y, Z. And we just label these like, these are my boundaries. These are the things that I'm willing to put up with. You know what I mean?
no. Like I said last time, and I'm always stick with it. I always use the fucking hide and go seek example. We can play all right here on this side of the street, but our boundary is that car right there, and our boundary is right there at that light pole. We can stay in between these lines. Everything outside of that is not fair game, playa, and we got to have it. Then you can't play.
No,
All
I
right here.
understand
All
it,
right
and
here.
obviously I have boundaries too. You know what I mean? That I
But
just didn't
with
know
your
that I fucking
example,
had.
right? With your example, here's a problem that I think a lot of us face subconsciously, right? And I think it's good that the discussion has came about more often. Um, but I think that there has also been a weird use of the term, and being dudes, right? Which I assume we are. Is you know, there's a good
I don't know. Damien still hasn't shown us his dick.
there's a good portion of us that want to provide. It's a part of our innate nature, right? And I think sometimes as guys, even in girls, right, how they in their own special way give. But I'll speak for guys. Um, it's not unique to us though to want to give and sometimes give until we can't no more. And the problem that you have with that, especially if you're getting into a dating scene, right, where you're dating multiple people, right? Like, how many times do you give all of you got until you ain't got all any left to give? You feel what I'm saying? And especially if you're going to be in the guys thinks it's cool to kind of have a girlfriend on Thursday and a new one on Tuesday, or one for July and another one for August, or one for the winter and one for the summer, like, but you start saying, hey, bro, how many times do you just give to a person? You let them mold you into what they need you to be. And then you start kind of losing sense of who you are. And that's why, to me, I think creating a certain boundary, right, of like, hey, I know you got cheated on back in the day and you got certain trust issues and shit, but as far as I'm willing to go to work with that is right here. I'll go all the way right here.
I don't know why the turn got me.
right
here.
Right here, baby. Like, this is as far as we're going. Like,
Turn got me.
Because the rest of that shit, if unchecked, becomes a very toxic trait. You become manipulative and controlling, paranoid.
So let me ask you this: if you're in a relationship, give me an example of a toxic trait. Just give me one, like, broad one, I guess.
Toxic trait. I compartmentalize my feelings, and this is one of my own. I compartmentalize my feelings, and I usually hold on to things until I decide to blow up.
Ooh, I do that too. Base.
Hold on, but why? Why is that a toxic thing?
It's not a good thing because
communication.
unjustifiably.
I guess
Yes.
I just hear these words thrown around so loosely that I just think something else when I hear these terms.
So put it like this: I stuff my emotions into a box for whatever reason. I stuff them into a box
Automatic.
Majority of
until
people
until the pressure builds and it explodes and I explode. Why is that a toxic trait? One, we do not communicate that way as adults. Second off, I do not let my children talk to me that way. Why am I going to talk to my partner that way? I would not let my children talk to my partner that way. Why would I talk to my partner that way?
Okay, so great example. So, why do we not try and fix that?
Okay, hold on. Wait, hold up. Let me see if I could tie this in where this makes a little more sense, right?
All right.
We can set boundaries where, hey, we don't yell at each other, right? But I have a toxic trait because I've always been condensed, and for whatever reason, whether it was a controlling partner, bad parents, or maybe I just never learned how to deal, whatever the fuck, right? I don't get to look at my girl and say, no, you have to deal with my yelling because this is the only way I know how, and try to get them to shift their boundary just because I have some toxic trait that I haven't worked on for whatever reason in how it got there.
No, but what if this boundary was created because of the way that you are?
No,
this is going back to what I was saying.
Now,
so at what point is it
weird.
becoming a boundary and not fixing your toxic trait? Like it's the same. It goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
There's, I
don't think so, though. But
look, Dean. Let me give you the example that Korpsx just gave. Right, you're with your old lady. This is a boundary that has never been set before. Right, you guys get into an argument, you blow up. Boom. I didn't really like that. Your girl says I didn't really like that.
Wait, I didn't really like what the conversation we had, or what? Like what?
That you blew up on me the way that you did. Why didn't you bring up those things that you talked about 3 months ago when they bothered you? Get past the conversation. 4 months later, happens again. Boom, you fucking blow up, right? Then she says, you know what? Moving forward, this cannot happen again. Like, you cannot bring up, like, if something's bothering you, you're going to tell me when it bothers you. It doesn't have to be right at that moment, but it has to be within a day's time that it bothered you, because I can't keep having you blow up on me and bringing up things that are 3 months later. Boom, setting a boundary, right? But it is also fixing a toxic trait.
I think, but in my opinion, I think that is fixing a toxic trait. I wouldn't call that, like, I guess you can say that's like a boundary. I wouldn't necessarily call that a boundary.
How is it not, though? How is it not? It literally, how is it
like I said, in my opinion, this is like my view on boundaries. Boundaries are very as isolated as they can be to me. Not necessarily like I'm not trying to do anything to you or say that you can or can't do anything. That would be like attempting to fix something that you don't like that's happening. I would say setting a boundary is this is my limit, and I'm removing myself, or I'm limiting myself to whatever I don't like as much as I can. If I don't like you blowing up, as soon as you start, I'm leaving the room. I'm going to take a step back. I'm not saying you can't bring this up. I'm not saying that you XYZ have to do whatever. That's like your business, and maybe we talk about that and try to fix the toxic trait. As a boundary, I'm going to remove myself because we're going to escalate things to 11 if this keeps happening. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mm.
That's like what a boundary is to me. Like you're limiting your exposure and not really messing with inside forces that are causing you to have that reaction. And then fixing a boundary is like, hey, I don't like that this happened. Let's try to fix it as best we can with like the compromises that we can make.
I do my thing used to be 24 hours. Whole 24 hours.
4 hours.
But we're not about to talk about this for a whole 24 hours.
Oh, see, I used to be really bad. I used to be really bad with that, like, because I hated carrying things over into the next day. I'd be like, "Nah, we're gonna talk about it now." But then I realized, like, people don't talk like that. You know what I mean? Like, some people, you have to reflect on who's in front of you, but who's in front of you. Some people can talk about it right there that minute. You know what I mean? Some people can't. Some people.
What sucks though about like doing it all at one go though, and this happened to me. This happened to other people that I like. The person I'm talking to, whatever thing we have. Is that like you can have it all resolved and then like days later it's like, you know what, actually I know I said it here, but I actually think this, because they've had time to reflect on things.
Yeah.
And I try to be more like understanding, but I'm the same. I hate like, let's talk about this tomorrow. Fucking hell, bro. Please, let's just talk
No,
about it right now.
But now, all right, go ahead, Push.
I've really learned, and this is even to today. At any time, I've had serious conversations with people, right? Like this podcast is one thing, right? Like, and we've had serious conversations. I think where we've debated all kinds of topics, right? But I think, especially, I think we can all say with our partners, it's different, right? It's different. And to Damien's point, you know, and even save your point as well. Like, I want to handle it right now. I do, but give me a couple hours to reflect on this, because you may not have meant what you said, and you need a chance to say that. And I might not have heard that the way that I thought that I heard that, and I need a second to process that. Or I can't, maybe I'm not seeing what I'm seeing right now. And I need 5 more minutes to let that clear up instead of me standing up right now and going over there and saying something. You feel what I'm saying? Like, maybe you need that breath. And I feel like, again, Save, I get your point, because I feel like I said earlier too, like, when does setting a boundary become just setting up somebody's prison? Right? Like I know in a sense of me, there's a toxicness of like, yo, Putch sits on shit, he'll blow up, and then once he starts going, he's a loose cannon, right? And I know we've all dealt with this, and Save, I always talk to you about this. And the sauce of it gets lost because Putch done blew the fuck up. But you know, like, what about that?
Well, here's the other thing, right? It's like, okay, so just to revert back for a second, I very much used to be that way. Like, nah, we're about to settle this right now. You know, I want to hear what you have to say in the heat of the fucking moment. But I realize a couple things. One, people don't work like that. Two, people say the dumbest fucking shit when it's like that. So now I'm just like, and a lot of people say shit that they don't mean, and they have to revert back and be like, "Hey, I didn't mean that."
And sometimes
I've done it
you
before.
say things that can't be unsaid.
Yeah, and then I've done that before. You know what I mean? I've said shit that can't be unsaid before. So now I'm just like, yo, as soon as I see that it's heating up, I'm like, you know what? Time out. We're gonna take a break from this. Or do you need some time? Because I need some time. And let's just get our heads together, figure out what the fuck we're gonna say. Because it honestly never has to come down to screaming and yelling. Unless it's like on the podcast, of course, because then, you know, fuck you guys. But like, it never has to come down to screaming and yelling, because this is what I always say, bro. Somewhere, somehow, something got tweaked and somebody heard something different than what the other person said, or they misunderstood something, and it just comes down to understanding. And the easiest way to understand each other is just to fucking talk. If I'm yelling and then you're yelling above me, now I'm trying to yell above you, and now neither one of us is listening. We're just fucking yelling. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't fucking work like that. But to go back to the boundary thing, the prison of boundary, or the boundary of prison, or whatever, however you worded it. Like, at that point, why not just leave?
Yeah, those are the other questions people, and those are the type of questions too. Like, again, right? So even in this whole situation, we can get lost in the debate of, do we talk about it right now, or do we wait for 3 weeks? Right?
Oh, 3 weeks is way too
whatever your case may fucking be.
It's like 2-3 days max.
There's a problem
that's
happened.
Even crazy.
There's an issue that happened. Something happened, right? Something happened, and whether or not, now, that's why I'm saying setting boundaries versus correcting some traits and correcting some behaviors, right? Because, Cisco, how many times do I get to piss you off before you yell at me? How many times, right? So we can say, oh, well, my boundary is this, but what other boundaries do we have? Is your disrespect to this person over here? and their reaction is what you're gauging right here, right? Or like, you get what I'm saying? That's where I feel like it starts getting weird. So it's like, now when I hear these conversations, and maybe this is where I can kind of button up where I got this whole idea, is when I hear these conversations, is like, for every boundary you try to set with your partner, fam, 2 of your toxic traits need to be corrected. If you're going to tell your partner, hey, you can't raise your voice, one of the best ones I thought I had ever heard.
Can't word it like that though, Pudge, because then you're telling somebody what they can and can't do.
Hey, let's just say, hey, my boundary is, you start yelling at me and we're just done talking, right? That person, I would look at them and say, is one, have they approached you multiple times about the situation? 2, how are you receiving them when they're approaching you with this information? How are you receiving them? Because I think delivery and receival, right? Acceptance is important in these type of discussions. And especially for a young man like myself who compartmentalizes naturally, right? I might come to you with an issue and I say, hey, babe, this. And it's just that. Just a little. And you might just say, okay. And I walk away and I'm like, hey, I don't think she really got it. And then I say it again later. And I put a little bit more on it. And it's like, you know what? I don't think they really fucking got it. You guys know what happens during it, right? And then, blah, Super Saiyan. And fucking, goddamn it, Putch, you yelled at me. It's like, whoa, how did we get here, though? You get me? So if you're going to set a boundary on your partner, like, hey, when you start yelling, because Cisco, it's fair. It's fair. What you've said is fair, right? If you're yelling at me, we're just not having this conversation right now. We're going to talk about it later, right? I tell people that's a beautiful boundary. That's fair. It's wonderful. Everything's fair. It's wonderful, right? But make sure when your partner comes to you with something, how are you receiving them? Are you receiving them well? Before you decide to throw up this guardrail for your family to stay intact, right? To make sure that we're staying intact and being respectful to each other. Right? Like, are we correcting toxic traits along with throwing up boundaries? Or are we just telling people, hey, are we just throwing boundaries? Or are you just saying, hey, bro, you need to go see a therapist about that? Like, like, what are we doing, fam? Because I think it's fair enough to set a boundary, right? I think that's because everything is
Can
fair.
a toxic trait be that you set too many boundaries?
I think that is. I think that is
anything.
I don't know.
Anything
SD.
in
SD.
I think anything in its extremity is probably a toxic trait.
Yes.
You were talking a little bit earlier about the compartmentalization of emotions and then the explosion of them, as well as the giving all to a relationship. I think both of those, one is obviously, I think, a toxic trait. The compartmentalization and then explosion, I think, is pretty hard, especially on your partner, where they're like, oh, everything's cool. And then you come in and just boom, and they're like, whoa, what the fuck?
Surprise, motherfucker. I know.
Yeah, because it's just a usual Tuesday and they get hit. And then the second part is the willingness to give, if I understood it right, of a relationship. I think that could be a big toxic trait in a positive, in a positive way, because obviously you're not hurting.
That doesn't make any sense. How is it a toxic trait if it's positive?
No, I'm not saying in a positive way. I'm saying you're not hurting anybody. Ideally, this sounds like a good thing. You're giving all to yourself to somebody, but also toxic because in some ways things can be toxic by you not being selfish in certain ways. You should have a sense of identity, or you should have a sense of reservation of yourself for certain things in certain amount of times.
Wow.
In relationships.
I don't think giving your all to a relationship means that you're now voiding taking time to yourself, though.
The way I understood Pudge is where you give all to yourself to the point where you have nothing to give. Mm-hmm. I think that is not good. You should have some to give. You should have reserves. You should have time for you. You should obviously have time for this person, but this person should know the word no. I don't have time right now. I gotta do my own thing right now. I gotta XYZ, whatever.
Because my blow ups. Okay, hold on. No. Let's take that. Let's take that little clip. Putchy has
Clip
blow
it.
ups. Putchy has blow ups. Putchy has been neglected and been forced to compartmentalize his emotions. The next chick, do they have to put up with that? Right?
See,
Because it's not to
I
my
don't-
fault. It's not to my fault.
Nobody has to put up with it.
but that's the thing, right? Like that's what that.
So
This is
just
where
like
it all
a
gets so
young
confusing
man,
to me,
so
right?
just like a young man who's giving himself, and he ain't got nothing left to give, right? It's kind of like, well, who's at blame, right? If he all of a sudden just breaks, right? Or if this relationship breaks up and he becomes this like
shell of a
of
person.
a shell of a person, avoidant attachment style, and all the fucking negative bad boy.
I think for some traits, they're your fault. You have to look in the mirror and be like, what boundaries am I not setting?
Yes,
What boundaries am I not setting to protect myself?
yes.
Versus, like, there are toxic traits that are not your fault and that are products of other things, and they're reactions and what is the word? Maladaptations of other things.
Ooh, good use of that word.
Come on, bro. A+ student. Only on the
Fuck
weekends.
me. The spelling bee champion.
Don't
That
tell
made
me.
me.
Don't ask me to spell it.
That made me hard. Okay, I'm gonna say that on the podcast. You don't want me to stand up right now, dude. It'll be like a little balloon animal.
I want you to stand up.
But I think a toxic trait, right? And again, Damo, I thought you would have a little fun with this conversation. Because I think you're very right that a toxic trait can be in such of the most beneficial of ways. And somebody like me, right? When I first noticed what I did with my emotions was stuffing them in a box, I really asked myself, like, how did I even get to that point? Like, where did that happen? Right? And it was like I thought I was doing people a service by just not talking about it. Like, oh, it's
Keeping
cool.
the peace. Let the
Yeah, bro,
waters be still.
I'm gonna keep the peace, bro. It's cool. Like we're cool, we're cool, we're cool. And then we weren't. And then we fucking weren't. Like, you get what I'm saying?
And it
And
sucks because it's like it really is a one grain of sand at a time, and then you got a fucking ton of sand, and the scales are real fucked.
yeah.
Like, whoa, holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize.
And I hate that. And I hate that a lot of people wear that like some kind of personality quality. Like, that's just a part of their personality. Where it's like, no, bro, that's a really toxic trait, my guy, and you need to work on that, or like, not only work on it, but be with somebody who's going to work with you about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think everyone should have a boundary where it's like, yo, you should not be hooting, hollering, and cussing at your partner, fam. That should not be going down. But if your
I
partner,
don't think that's the boundary though. That's just respect. Like that. This is why it gets so wishy washy with me, bro. Like,
bro,
what's the boundary and what's just fucking common sense?
But some couples are cool with it though. That's the thing. Some couples are cool with cussing at each other. Like, you know, the Italians out in fucking New York in the 1960s, bro. That's like, that was the sign of love when you heard, "Hey, you stupid bitch, get in my car."
What about the like
Bitch,
a sign
get
of
in
respect
my
too?
car.
A sign of respect too. Like, I remember growing up, if my mom ever heard me cuss, like, it was over, bro.
Like,
But like,
oh.
we have people fully getting into like back and forth with their parents, and it's like, oh, it's because we love each other, or like that's just how we talk about. That's how we talk to each other, bro. My mom would fucking uppercut my ass if I ever said an F-bomb in front of her.
Bro, I didn't even really start cussing in front of my mom until I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
I can't.
And even now,
I do that.
No, but I mean, but it's not like well, first of all, I'm not cussing to her. But
no,
like,
I even around her, like,
yeah. But now it's like it's not blatant and it's not like
it's not
repetitive. Like, it's
violent,
not like
yeah.
this fucking stupid motherfucker. You know, like, it's just like, nah, can you believe that shit? And I'm like, oh, I'm like, my bad, mom. You know, like,
Yeah,
even all my friends know they're not allowed to cuss in front of my mom.
Yeah,
And just like Peanut, when he's of
Yeah.
age, when he's like 15, 16 years old, starts cussing, you can't cuss in front of mom, dog. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Don't
What the
cuss
fuck
in front
you
of Miss Ellen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't cuss in front of Miss Ellen now. Mm-mm.
yeah.
My dad too. My dad used to be big on that. You don't cuss in front of him, man. And I don't know,
You
like,
cuss in front of me, I don't give a fuck. But
Like-
not in front of your mom.
Save, me and Milkman used to have these talks a lot, and you would think some of this shit is basic science, right? Like of respect and stuff, right? Like respecting your partner, talking to him a certain way, whatever. But bro, and then we lived in Key West, where
Well, that's Florida, bro. People
where
are
we
fucked up.
watched
Bro, they
other
drink blood.
men procure other men to have sex with their wives. And that to me doesn't register. You get me? Like in my brain of circuitry, like that just doesn't compute, right? So to say,
Bro, if I started talking to a girl last week and you try and have sex with her, I might be pissed. But once I put my pee inside of you and anybody tries to have sex with you, I would be even more pissed.
It's like everything you do is my business after that point.
Now it's my business. It's like Avatar, you know what I mean? Like once that connection is made, it's a done deal, my G.
Oh my god. But I just think that because I thought of I don't know, I don't want to sound too gay with this, but I would think of Save
men sexually.
I would think of Save a lot when I would hear
oh my god.
Pause.
I think of Save sometimes too.
When I would hear these conversations
hot, bro.
Around boundaries. It's like, yo, Save was like really distraught at 1 second on the podcast.
No, okay. Let me clear some things up for the sake of people that have just started listening to the podcast, okay? You have to remember, I'm a little bit older, okay? I've typically dated women that are younger than me. Like 5-6 year difference. And the first time I ever heard that word, boundary, and that's fair, and just all the types of lingo that we're fucking using right now, right? It was with a girl who was fucking crazy. Sorry, she wasn't crazy. Maybe I made her a little crazy. Who the fuck knows? But
toxic traits.
It was just very like I was getting everything that I had done up to the point of the words boundaries starting to come out of her mouth was being taken away from me, right? Like, I don't want you to do this anymore, or like, I can't do it if you do this anymore, and I can't do it if you do this anymore. And it was literally, bro, like a fucking laundry list of shit. And it made me feel like I was fucking crazy, like I was an actual crazy person. And two, I'm like, then why the fuck be with me if you're just gonna take away who I am as a person in whole? Mm. But that conversation was what, a year and a half ago? A year ago? Something like that?
Year and a half at least.
Then since lived, grown up, had conversations with other people, seen other people, and understand, yeah, shit happens sometimes, and you do need to create boundary, like some type of boundary. You know what I mean? But I think I just look at boundaries a little bit different than how majority of people look at them, and that's just because I look at the respect thing as a big fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about like when I'm setting a boundary, you know, like I'm not going to put up with certain shit. Like I'm not going to put up with talking about things 3 days later. I'm not going to put up with that shit.
I was gonna say, I think,
but it's also not a deal breaker, and it's also like comes in time with conversation, right? Like, hey, how do you normally go about how you handle your arguments and this and that? Okay, this is how I normally go about how I handle my arguments. How can we work on figuring out how it works for both of us? To me, that makes more sense than setting a boundary. To me, that makes more sense. Or like we're talking and we're like 4 or 5 months into talking, and you just did something that I do not like, and I never set a boundary on it. I'm gonna just be like, hey, you know what? Like, I really didn't like that. Like, is that normally how you act when it comes to this type of stuff? Oh yeah, like on average, that's typically how the outcome of this situation would go. Well, I mean, I'm not really a fan of that. Like, what can we do to change it so it works for both of us? To me, that makes more sense than saying like, I'm not going to deal with, like, this is the line, don't step over it. Like, I feel like those lines should be cheating. Those lines should be like lying, things of that nature. You know what I mean? Like, but those should already be.
Those are the prerequisites of a. That's another thing. hold on. Can we please address
Am I making
a
sense? I just want to
yes,
make sure I'm making sense. Okay.
yes? Because hold on, I love the point that you just made, and I just hope you guys agree with me when I say this statement. If
Oh,
not,
shit. One of us is gonna disagree. I hope you know that.
then I lost the bet. Okay, but I was like, I bet you they're gonna
made a
fucking
bet
agree
that
with me when I
both
say
of
this.
us would agree.
They never agree with you.
It's a
But
crazy odd.
yeah, fuck,
Oh,
I don't
shit.
even know if I want to say it.
Both of us together?
Yes.
Oh, we have to hear it now,
Unless
bro.
it's like the sky is blue. I don't know. Even then,
Nah, we
sometimes
have to
it's
hear
like
it
a
now,
teal
Pacho.
during sunset.
Come on,
There's
Pacho.
you get no credit when if you're dating someone. Let's just say we meet someone, we're talking to them, and they say, "Yeah, you know what? I don't cheat in relationships, and I
They say that.
don't
They say
like."
that.
They say this to you. I don't cheat when I'm in relationships, and that's what makes me a good partner. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's
Oh.
like a prerequisite. Like
But that's
that
like-
is a pre. You get no cred. Like you get no credit for being like, yo, I'm faithful. Like I don't be hanging out and hooking up with my fucking ex. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I didn't
Wait,
think that
no.
until you said it.
I didn't. Yeah, like, isn't that what we're
That's a
doing
thing.
here?
Like, that's a
That's
thing.
what makes you available to me, right? Like that's what this.
Should have written more on the resume.
I'm
like,
faithful is
lie on it.
crazy. For
That's
somebody
not
to be like,
you.
what do
get
you bring
no
to the
credit.
table? I'm faithful and I'm
I'm
honest.
faithful and I'm honest. So
Alright,
let me
what
tell.
do
So we plan on lying to each other. Then that
Yeah,
was
like-
that in the plans here today? Like I don't get that. Like so can we agree that there is some baseline prerequisites that you just get no credit for when dating somebody? Like
I think we've talked about this too, but I would agree.
I mean, but you just said. I mean, I agree with that statement. What you just said, but you also just like talked about being in Key West where people want to fuck other people's wives and people are cool with it. You know what I mean? Like, so how?
you're not normal.
No,
We're
but
talking
that's-
about normal people. Okay, we're
I
talking
was gonna
about
say not only is that an exception, but also that's not I was gonna say that's not unfaithful because that's the like rule set that they've given themselves.
for a monogamous relationship,
We're
no
cool to
polygamy.
be a little loosey goosey with the rules here. You know, that's what they
But
said to
even
each other.
even some people would not. A lot of people would not agree
Most
with
people would not agree with that.
Well, no, I think most people.
that, and it
would not
sounds
agree.
crazy to a lot of people. Like genuinely.
Genuinely, I was shocked. I was appalled. But then I realized
Appalled
that
is crazy.
there
Appalled.
is a baseline though expectation that you can have for somebody who is in a polygamous relationship. I wondered why they didn't fight, why there wasn't more infighting in the swinger community. And their infighting was generally more based around like who's throwing the events when, and they're overlapping here, and you're not giving enough space for test, like the safety, the kind of like the safety of it type of aspect, right?
I don't kink shame, so if you're into that shit, like
I'm not shaming,
Do it. Go to the beach.
not
Find
for
a
me.
hot dude or girl.
Not just not for me, fam.
well,
Just
hold
not-
on. I just said I'm not gonna kink shame. I'm not gonna encourage it.
Go for it. I will. Do it. As long as you're not hurting other people and everybody in the party is consenting adults, go for it. Just don't get hurt.
I just feel like that's damaging. I just feel like psychologically it's damaging.
This is also not financial advice.
Yeah, bro, listen. I didn't even participate, and it was mentally damaging to me. Like,
Because yeah, if you could imagine yourself in that spot, just your like lady getting like railed or some shit. Yeah, bro.
or the
I
fact,
can't mentally. My mental is a glass.
I don't
tower
even
at
like
that
thinking
point,
about.
bro.
I don't even like thinking about the last dude my lady was with. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
Imagine
why do I?
actively?
Yeah,
Dude, the
no,
worst thing in the world in my head in those sort of situations are like you're done, and your lady and the other dude are like, "We're going for thirds." You're like, "No, bro, I don't have it in me."
You're like, you're
No.
like, you're like. I'm gonna go wait in the car.
yeah.
Text me when it's over.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Just to kind of go off course for a second, I saw. You guys watch like clips from the Shits and Gigs podcast? You guys don't know Shits and Gigs?
I think you've told
they were
me,
talking.
or you mentioned
They
it.
were talking about like daggers. Like, what is something that a woman can say to a man that they don't think is an insult? but it is a dagger to a man's heart. So the first example was like, you just get home from the barber, right? And then like,
It's like,
all right, Damien, you, I'll be the girl, you be the guy. Pretend you just came home, and your old lady's like in the other room, and you want to call her over to see your haircut.
She's okay. Babe, come here. I want to show you something real quick.
Okay, I'm coming.
Yeah, you are later too. Oh
All
shit,
right.
my face.
All right, go ahead. Show me your haircut.
Oh, crazy.
Look at this shit right here.
Oh wow. Did he do something different this time?
Yeah. I
I
mean,
Is that how you normally get it?
yeah, bro. I thought I had a big ass dick and everything. Like,
Did you go to a different barber?
no, it's my guy.
Oh, bro.
That's
oh my
hurt.
God.
That's hurt. That's hurt. And they don't even know. That's so hurt.
The other one is, we've talked about this one before. You're
bigger
the
ones
perfect
hurt.
size.
Oh,
Perfect
The bigger
sizes.
ones hurt. Oh,
Who said that?
bro.
Did somebody in chat say that?
No, Damien said that the last time we were talking about like something along these lines. He was like, the big ones hurt. Or
Oh my
something like
god.
that. Like, you're the
I've
perfect
never-
size. The big
You're
ones hurt.
never coming back from that. The big ones hurt. You're never coming back.
yeah, I'm just
Ever.
like, yeah, you're right. That's what I was thinking too.
Bitch, I will
Yeah.
kill you. Like, what the fuck? Bro, no one's leaving this room. You have somebody. Oh, no. No, thank you.
I gotta swing.
Yeah.
Do you have another one, D?
Honor.
Do you have one that
Um,
would hurt your pride?
That would hurt my pride.
Those are the only two that I saw. They had a longer list, but I couldn't watch the rest of the video.
There probably are some. I'm trying to think. I don't know. The haircut one I agree with. It doesn't hurt that much. I'm just like, you just see me with the haircut a bunch. Because
you
me and
can
my
reach
girlfriend,
it?
we've been together. So, huh?
Or it's crooked. What if they say it's crooked when they're talking
Oh,
about
that's
their haircut?
fucking hurt. That's fucking hurt, dude.
Oh, it's crooked. That's
It's
like heart.
crooked.
That's not even like hurt. That's like, oh, my heart drops, bro. I'm like, no fucking way, bro. I just sat in this chair. What the fuck?
Oh shit! It's crooked. It's crazy.
My heart drops.
Yeah, can you reach it? If you can reach it, it's like,
Oh, I didn't even think of that one. Oh man, lately I've been going through this like I'm short phase, and
Yeah.
holy fuck, bro.
motherfuckers.
Can't relate.
Bro, if I was
Tight shit,
6
tight
foot
shit.
tall,
Fuck you, David.
I'd be doing irreparable damage, bro.
Tell me when there's an earthquake, bro. It won't get to my head fast enough.
Shut up, bro.
Especially now, bro. I'm like in my mid-30s. I feel like I'm starting to shrink and like my back's getting really fucked. Like
What it's like to be in your prime.
I
No, I'm
am
just
in my
kidding.
prime. Don't get me wrong.
No, you guys
I'm in my
are.
fucking
Bro,
prime,
both of you are fucking horrible examples of like 30s. I feel like I'm not going to look like either of you when I'm 30.
What does that mean?
Why?
You guys just look
Whoa,
great.
that was just some compartmentalization rage that's about to come out, dude.
No,
Hold on.
I'm saying
what
that
the
you guys
fuck
look-
does that mean?
I'm saying you guys look like your young 20s.
Oh.
What the fuck? Y'all thought
I thought you were
That's what
saying we
I'm
look
saying.
like shit. I was like, oh, dude, fuck you.
No. What the
I
hell
can
look
hang
like?
with the best of them, bro. And I'm still a sexual machine. Fuck you.
Yeah, only 1.5 Viagra. That's right.
Hey.
Good job.
I don't need no Viagra, all right? I might need a break in between because my heart starts pumping too fast, but you know,
Little
as long as the air
Gatorade.
conditioning's on and there's some water, like I'm good, you know?
Little
honey pack.
electrolytes. We're back.
Little honey
Oh,
pack,
so
bro.
bad.
You'll be all right.
Bro, straight the fuck up. I've always wanted to try one of those, but I'm like scared as fuck to try it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a real honey pack. Is that like a brand or something?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the honey. No, like, yeah, it's like supposed to be some Afghani honey or some shit that,
Yeah.
like,
Mm.
yeah, it's supposed to be like organic
asking-
Viagra.
Purely for a friend, but does anybody know if ashwagandha really like, makes your schlong bigger?
Oh,
Asking
the
for a
homie,
friend.
the homie said it makes him feel like more of a man. That's what he said to me.
What the fuck? I'll tell my friend.
Because I've been thinking about
Let him
taking
know.
some too, bro. 'Cause,
No,
you know,
nothing increases penis size. There's
That's
nothing.
a lie. A doctor said that
nothing.
they do.
No, I don't
A
think they do. I don't
TikTok
think,
doctor.
I don't think they've ever been
Ashwagandha.
I'm just joking, bro.
Oh,
Now the dick doc on
TikTok.
On
TikTok,
TikTok? Yeah.
Yes.
Where did he go, bro? He used to be on my For You page all the time.
bro, hey, bro.
do you,
TikTok
Jordan?
on TikTok or
Ashwagandha?
TikTok on TikTok. used to
he
love that
made
guy.
some money and got out of there, bro.
He was smart, bro. He knew when to pull out.
He used
Ironically.
ashwagandha. Yeah. It's supposed to like increase blood flow and all that shit down there. No, it doesn't actually make it like bigger.
Nah, but it makes you like girthier though, because the blood is pumping
Because
harder.
the blood, yeah. You got
Yeah.
But I
like,
wonder,
And you
bro,
know,
would
most
you-
women they want girthier. They don't want longer.
hey,
You don't want a
listen,
pencil dick, bro.
We're not going to speak for every whore that listens to this
Jesus
podcast, okay? I'm just
Christ.
saying.
Or is great. You better apologize right now, Corpse.
I'm
Apologize.
sorry.
You're about to
I'm
lose
sorry.
viewers.
I'm sorry. That was a little out of pocket. But
That was so out of pocket. It was down the fucking street, bro. It wasn't even the same.
You literally cut the pocket off and threw it away, bro.
You weren't even
Bro,
wearing
I
the
seen
same
some
jeans. It
video.
was so out of fucking pocket. What
I
the
seen
fuck
some
was
video
that?
of a girl talking about she needs a fucking 13-inch dong. I'm like, you're a slut. Like, I don't care what no one says, bro. That's
Nah,
gigantic.
Actually,
people just-
that doesn't make her a slut, though.
That just makes her like
that's
different
just
bodies.
preference. Yeah, it's just preference, you know. Just preference.
Different strokes for different folks.
Wait,
Yo,
but I'm
you
not-
got the mini
the
table
size-
is crazy.
That is like
Wait.
the width of my shoulders. Guys.
wait. Do me a favor. Show me what 4 inches looks like. There we go.
Take it or
There
leave
we
it.
go. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's just normal.
That's big in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's too
saying.
big. Some would say too big. Those hurt.
Like how you put it in.
That's a whole hand's worth, bro. Come on.
That's
now.
what
You
I'm
guys
saying. I don't need more than that.
can't knock
Yeah,
a
bro,
guy
that
for
could be
having
a
hole.
mouthful, you know?
That's a fistful, baby. Get a knuckle sandwich.
That could be a mouthful. It's fucking bonkers.
What
I'm
is-
straight so far away from the conversation.
Oselo
so
said,
sorry.
Oselo said, there ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of shooting as long as the right people get shot.
Yo, what?
All right. We had our fun. I can't believe this. Wait,
Much
hold
as-
on. But seriously,
I'm
the
just saying-
13 inches doesn't make her a slut, though. It's just
What
her
does that make her?
preference.
I agree.
It just makes her a girl
Just
that
makes
likes
her like
big ass dick.
dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What if? Let me ask you a question. What if she's only been? What if she's only been with 3 guys, right? And
All of them
the
were 13
second guy. The
inches.
Yeah.
second guy.
Oh.
What
the
circles
second
is she
guy-
running in?
The second guy was 13 inches, right? Second
She
guy
was
was
like,
13
ooh,
inches.
That's
Next
it.
guy was average, and she's like, you know what? Out of the 3 guys, I preferred the 13 inch.
Mm-hmm.
That don't make her a slut. That just means she
Exactly.
likes big ass fucking dicks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that.
You
I'll
think
take
even
Whoa,
the 13?
you'll
You think
take
even
that.
the?
What does that
You think
mean?
even the 13 inch guy, if she said to him, "You're the perfect size," you think it still hurts him a little bit?
It hurts.
Hell
That
no,
still
bro.
hurts. No, that's
No,
still hurts.
no,
That
hell
still
no.
hurts.
There's
It
no
doesn't
way.
hurt unless
There's
you're
no
average,
way you
bro.
can have 13 inches and get your feelings
Nah.
hurt, bro. There's no way.
13 is also ridiculous, and I feel bad for you.
No,
Actually,
okay.
I think if
because
you
that's
have,
not even
like,
fun.
6 and up, and you get you hear perfect size, your feelings don't get hurt.
Bro, you know
Yeah.
what? When the
There you go,
girl, when I seen that video and the girl was talking about she wanted you, whatever, right? I actually looked up the statistics of men with penis sizes over 12 inches, right? And it's like astronomically low.
Yeah.
I
Like
would
you're
assume so.
talking like worldwide between like 3.75 inches to like 6 is like your average, right? Like, and that's not a real. That's less than
Hey, I'm
3.
above average, bro.
So, okay,
3.75 to 6 inches.
hey, you know, hey. So I'm just like, I was like, yo, that's crazy. But Putchy did a little scrolling, and there's a thing of big dick shame, where there is a
What the fuck
statistic
is this
of
conversation?
there's a
Crying from
statistic
success,
of
bro.
there's a statistic of men who suffer from depression because they have too large of genitalia.
We shouldn't laugh
Well,
though, because
hold on.
realistically, their shit is so big that the average person isn't gonna fuck with it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That was gonna be my thing. Is one, it's probably gonna be very hard to find a woman that's gonna be like,
Unironically,
okay,
yeah,
put
I
that
see what
big
you did
ass thing
there.
in me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
But 2, bro, their whole dick will never feel the inside of a
Yeah.
vagina.
The base, bro, the base will never get it.
It will be the driest it's ever been. Like they have to lotion it because it will never feel the wetness of a woman.
There's a dude at
Mm.
my gym, bro. His dick is gigantic. and
Yo,
he
that's
walks around with
so
it like
crazy.
that, just out. And I'm like, bro, he's like my
Censorship on
size.
this
Dude.
podcast.
He's my size, dude.
Hey,
It's
some guys are just lucky, bro.
what the. But he gets real weird if he catches you looking, right? Like,
Yeah,
Like,
bro, it's his dick.
It is massive, dude. Like I don't know.
He was about to pull out the tape again, bro.
Bro, like trust me.
Yeah, bro. If I
He was
caught
about
you
to
looking
pull
at
out
my
the-
dick, I'm not gonna lie. I'd be like, "What are you doing?"
No, listen. Okay. The first time I saw it, I hid. I had to like hide my face.
He was like hiding behind the wall, looking like still looking.
No, I looked. I was like, oh my god, like, oh my word, like, oh
He's
my
like-
god,
He's like an elephant trunk.
like it startled me, bro. Like somebody was trying to like mug me or something, but he's like 5'2". Like, what the fuck is that thing? And, like I didn't know if he had like an abscess or something, bro. Like I thought something
Like
was
he had a squire in front of him before he answered. You're like, whoa, what the fuck is happening?
Now I don't go in the when he's in the locker room.
What if he just like comes up to you? He's like, "Hello," but then his dick just like.
Dude, when he's in the
Shakes
locker
your
room, I
head.
leave. I leave. If he's in the locker room, I don't go in there no more.
If he runs too fast by you, it's like,
It will hurt you. It will hurt you. And I've seen him. What's wild is, bro, is like I've seen him in the saunas, right? And he's not naked, right?
oh, okay.
I was
I've
about to
seen-
say, damn. You think that's
This seat's taken.
yeah.
Bro, and there was a day where I was telling everybody like, and this was before I saw his fucking other leg. I was like, yeah, people just be walking around naked in the fucking showers. Like, yo, I'm not really tripping, but like, put that thing away, you know? Like, no one's trying to see all that.
Bro,
And then
older
it was
dudes
like
do
2
not
days
give a
later, I
fuck
saw
either.
his. I was like, holy fuck. And he wears like real small shorts, like,
Some men are just blessed, bro.
but there's a monster. Yeah.
Some men are just blessed. Hey,
But
more
like
power to 'em.
genuinely, unironically, too big does probably suck. It's like, oh man,
Yeah. There's some shame. I feel like there might be some shame there.
not even shame. Just like it's not as you can't like pedal to the metal ever, unless you find like a girl who, unless
He's
you
trying
find
to
a girl
rabbit
who
fuck
like
the whole time.
A fucking horse
not
coochie.
the whole time, but like you gotta
A horse
you gotta,
coochie.
you
That's
gotta
a
have
horse
fun with,
coochie.
You gotta
I'm
have fun.
sorry.
you gotta have fun with it,
Damon's
you know?
crazy for that one. You gotta have some fun with
Sorry.
it. You gotta put the pedal to the metal sometimes.
Sometimes you gotta put the pedal to the metal.
I bet like doing a thunderclap with that thing is pretty fun because it's got to go like damn near past your fucking nipples swinging that thing around, bro.
Do I even want to know what the fuck a thunderclap is?
You don't know what the thunderclap is?
No.
Damien, do you know what the thunderclap is?
Just sounds funny. I don't
It's
know
when
why it
you-
had me giggling.
It's when you stand there and you pelvis thrust and make your nuts laugh.
Bro,
Accidentally
if
hit
it
your
was
chin.
that, bro, if it was that big, it's gonna swing backwards and slap you in the ass. Then you're really gonna be like, I'm not doing that again.
bro.
Then you really know why the big ones hurt.
Imagine like you wake up in the morning and you got like wood and you're trying to piss and your dong is like 13 inches, bro. That's gonna fucking suck.
You gotta pee in the shower.
I don't even like
Bro.
thinking about that image.
That's gonna suck, bro. That's gonna suck.
It's a
Because it
water
sucks
slide.
now, and I'm not packing 13 inches. I'm telling you, bro. You feel me? I'd be about to
Yeah.
piss all over the top of the toilet.
You gotta squat.
Oh,
How did
my
we
God.
get? How did we
I
get
don't know.
there?
That was a crazy little ride there.
What was the
fuck.
other thing
Pause on that.
that setting
Pause.
boundaries versus?
The top one, it was would you rather be a guy who works 2 jobs and gives little time to your significant other, or would you rather work a part-time job, spend more time with your significant other, but have less money to provide financially? This is a good question. I've done both. And do we have is there kids in this situation?
Yeah, like I think that was kind of what I was interested in seeing with Zero. Is just how he'd feel versus how you would feel because you have kids. In this.
Well, I can answer the question in 2 different ways. I just need to know in the example if there's a kid.
Yeah, take your life example right now as it is.
Oh, I'm working part-time. Can I do something on the side? Like, can my part-time job fuel something else? Or do I only make like 40 grand a month or 40 grand a year?
I was about to say, holy fuck.
Whew, where are you working part time? 40 grand. No, let's say like 28,
Damn.
I make $30,000 a year.
30,000. Yeah.
As opposed to what? What would I be making if I was full-time?
2 income, work 2 jobs. Let's say like 90 bands.
And Peanut's the same age as he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
What does my partner do?
Not considering them because they're
What does he say?
regardless of what they're doing in this equation, you're either giving more to them or taking from them. So let's
Okay.
not
Just
even
assuming
think
y'all
about
can
it.
All
get
right,
by, but
I'm gonna
y'all
tie
can
this.
go on
All
like
right, I'm gonna
vacation.
tie this into something that I saw today, if that's okay with you guys,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it just made me a little emotional thinking about this because of what I saw earlier. I would make 30 grand a year, and I would make the best of it. Right, I get to spend all my time with Peanut, um, and do whatever I could. Right, I would live in like a studio if I had to, whatever the case may be. But I saw this, I saw this video today where I don't remember the comedian's name. It was Tom Segura, and he does a podcast with somebody else. It's like Big Bear podcast or something like that. And he was like, I guess he gave some guy some money, and he said, "Man, you don't know what this does for me. It's my daughter's birthday, and I couldn't throw her a party, but now I can be the dad that she thinks that I am."
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And I was like, "Holy fuck, bro!" Like, if you think about it like that, like your kids don't know how much money you make. Your kids don't know what you're doing or financial issue or whatever. They just know that you're the greatest fucking person on earth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I would say that's why I said I would make 30 grand because Peanut doesn't care about how much money I make. He just
Mm-hmm.
cares about spending time, and I'm there for his baseball, and I know all the sea creatures that he wants me to know, and I study on my own to keep up with him on what's hot right now. You know what I mean? Like, I know all the Italian brain rot shit because of him. Like, yeah, I would definitely make 30 grand and work part time because I'm still young. You know what I mean? Like, by the time he's old enough,
But
like
at
I can go
30
and work.
grand, a month, you're barely making maybe $2,500 roughly a month.
Oh, I know, bro. Oh, we gonna struggle. We gonna struggle for real. But that's the thing is, right? Our kids will never see us struggle, no matter what, ever.
Yeah, I think in theory, right? I think in theory that works. Right. And for a lot of people, I'm starting to kind of more encourage them to move places, right? Because there is still places out there in the world, bro. Like again, the world where you can work a part-time job, bro. And if it's you and your kid or just you and your lady, right? Like uh, work work the part-time job, bro. And now let's just say she don't work a job, right? Y'all have all the time now, right? I'm only working 30 hours, so we got all the time now. And let's just say she's even working a part-time job, right? That little part-time money and that little part-time money somewhere in Alabama is going to get you places. That little bit of part-time money and part-time money in Detroit, Michigan is going to get you places, right? Like
Yeah, but you said the world. You could do that in Thailand and fucking be a king.
I'm strictly American. I'm just putting it out there, right? I'm just saying the world, people,
Philippines, like you could go anywhere.
people, keep your options open, right? Like that is one great thing that I think, like, I think the one great thing, especially here in America, that we have is that our country's so huge. Our country's so huge that you like when Europeaners come here, they get really like wilded out because it's like, yo, we just drove 6 hours and we're in the same state.
We're still in California.
Like over there, if we
Oh,
drove
Texas.
6 hours, we might go through 3 different countries. Motherfuck. Like, what are y'all talking? Like, Israel is the size of New Jersey. I know y'all been hearing that in the news. That is insane. Like, some of our states are as big as whole countries out there. So just think of moving and stuff because
I think everybody on the podcast knows exactly what D would do.
What would I do?
You wouldn't work 2 jobs, I'll tell you that much.
I would work 2 jobs, bust my ass, and never see my wife again.
Yeah, bullshit.
I would divorce her, work 3 jobs, fuck her. I'm just kidding. No, yeah, of course. I think
No, because if I didn't have Peanut, I would work 2 jobs. If I didn't have Peanut, I would go back to 10 to 12-hour dates.
I think the idea is you have somebody else. Like it's a somebody else to spend the time with. Are you making the sacrifice, or are you making the money to provide for that person? Right, that's the idea. Either that like a kid or like a wife.
And you're putting a lot, because you're putting a lot of focus on Peanut, where the question was also surrounding a significant other.
Well, that's why I said, like, well, I don't have a significant other. You know what I mean? Like, to relate it to. I have Peanut. He's my significant other.
If you had one, along with Peanut.
Okay, so if I had a significant other, now, I think there's a lot that goes into the question, though, Korpsx. Is like, did I already have this career prior, or is this a career that's starting fresh with this relationship? You see what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a lot that goes into it.
This is like a cosmic thing. You have 2 options. You could live in 2 worlds. You
It's
live
gonna be
in one of either. It'll be set up. You flip a switch.
I don't know. I think a part of me would like to choose the significant other portion of that, right? Like, but I also think work is very important, and being financially stable is somewhat important, and also like not seeing your significant other every fucking day is important to me. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, or seeing them, but just not like spending all the fucking time with them. I think that could become very, very negative for a relationship.
I agree with that.
Why are you looking at me like that, Korpsx?
Oh, no. I just think people try to say that money can't buy happiness, but they ain't never been to a strip club. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, fam.
Hey, they say money can't buy happiness, but everybody wants to win the lottery, right?
Just saying. You know, and
it's because everything is simple up there. Nothing goes wrong up there.
Up where?
Up there in your head.
In the
dome.
dome.
When you're thinking of winning the lottery, you're like, oh, bro, it's sick. I'm paying off everything, and like everything's normal. But nothing is normal when that shit happens. All of your fucking family comes out the woodwork. It's like, hey, Damien.
I think there's a certain number that you can get to, right? And there's a certain number you get to, and life just doesn't change after that, really, right? Like, you can buy all the fancy things and all the but your really base level line of life, I don't think really changes. You know, you're healthy, you have access to the healthcare, you know, you have access to this X, Y, and Z, and you know, so I think a big caveat that I would have to find is, what is that second job? Right? How securely does it set us financially? Right? Because again, people who say that money doesn't buy happiness have never sat first class, obviously. Right? Like, you've obviously never had a badass fucking trip to Disneyland with your family. You've obviously never had a really, really good fucking steak dinner, baby, from Manny's in Minnesota. You've never had it, obviously. Like, oh, because this little dollar bill will get me places in this world. And I've seen this discussion going back and forth, and the guy, I can't remember what page or what I was on. I think I was on TikTok, but he goes, it sucks because we want to be romantic about this idea. We want to be romantic about the idea. Like, I want to be able to spend time with my partner in X, Y, and Z. He's like, but sometimes when we look at these things and the decisions we make, right, we also need to not only ensure the now, but also guarantee a later. He's like, and that's why he was saying, so for me, he's like, until I can't no more, I'm going to work 2 jobs. He's like, I got kids in high school. He's like, I make all their things, all this, all that. He's like, but when I'm working.
Yeah, but that's the hard part about it, right? Is that, like, if you grew up in a family with a dad that did work 2 jobs and was never there for their kids,
it's tough.
You don't want that for your kids. You know what I mean? Bro, I just went with my dad to the fair on Thursday with the kids.
Oh, how was it?
Bro, I haven't been to the fair with my father in almost 20 years.
You told us that
20 years.
the thing was expensive, but you didn't tell it. Yeah, you didn't tell us how it was.
Bro, it was so much fun, like watching the kids and watching my dad have fun with the kids and watching, you know what I mean? Like my dad, like the kids would go on the ride. My dad was holding all their little plushies and shit like that. Like it was just nice, you know what I mean? And I was very thankful that my son and my nephews were able to experience that from my dad. You know what I mean? Like, and then my dad didn't fight me on taking the day off. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, take the day off so that you can go with the kids. And I was chatting with him about it yesterday, because Mondays is when I hang out with my dad. I was chatting to him about it yesterday. And I was like, man, it was fucking expensive and this and that. And he said, son, there was days when I was in Mexico and I was a little kid and we would have to watch the ice cream man go by because we didn't have 25 cents to get a scoop of ice cream. We have it now. Let them have fun. Like, it's about the memories. And at that moment, I was like, damn, I'm 30 years old. My pops is still spitting knowledge to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's about.
You're never too old to learn something from somebody, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was nice. I really enjoyed myself and seeing my pops like that. You know what I mean? The food was shit that we got, but it was nice. You ever eat Mexican food and you can just like tell non-Mexicans made it?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. Something about the meat.
It's just not made with love. You can just tell that there's no love.
And the beans are ass.
The beans.
The beans are ass.
Yeah, like
you know, one thing I did, I don't know. Did you guys get to listen to the Bernie Sanders?
No, you just messaged it today, so I didn't even know it was out.
Right. It got kind of dicey at the end, right?
Here it goes, baby. The political part of UTP.
No. I do want to ask. I do want to ask this, right? There's other news that I seen, but I don't really feel like bringing that part up as much. But I do.
Trump's impeachment.
Yeah, they tried to impeach him, and
based.
Well, it sucks because in the House of Representatives, only 19 Democrats voted for impeachment.
That's crazy.
So that tells me two things. One, that they're either a bunch of fucking liars blowing a bunch of hot air out, or for whatever reason, they're just deathly afraid of Donald Trump. And I like to think it's the first one.
Hey, be careful. He says the F word. He says the F word on live TV.
I don't want to get into this.
That shit was fucking insane. I was like, oh my God. But
okay. As much as I dislike Donald Trump, that shit was gangster as fuck, bro.
That shit was insane.
Did you see that, D?
Bro, that was milk.
No. The way he said it. The way he said it.
So milk toast. Yes.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, he was like, that shit was gangster, bro. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I think he's a fucking shit speaker. He's fucking up a lot of shit right now. But that shit was gangster, bro. The way he said that. Like, I would say the same thing if George Bush said it or Obama said it. The way he said that shit was gangster as fuck. And
or like when Biden called him a clown in one of the debates. He's like, this clown. I mean, this guy. I was like, oh, the stutter came in clean.
Sometimes people say some gangster shit, bro, and gotta recognize some gangster shit when you see some gangster shit,
bro. I get people were like tripping about, I don't know. I just desensitized, I guess, by people saying fuck. I get that he's like a high.
No, but he was like, figure. I got these two countries that have been at war for so long that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. How are you gonna agree? Okay, we don't have to talk about this. I'm just saying, like, the way he said it was gangster. That's all.
The one thing that I take from that, and I don't know if people really picked it up, right, the last time, when he mentioned, like, die like a dog. Like, there's a thing between Iran and dogs, right? That culture and dogs, right? And there's also another thing with using crass language, right? So when I heard that and I watched the clip, I was like, oh, fuck, he just cussed, like, talking about Iran, like, oh shit, like, they don't do crass language, bro. Muslims, they're not about that. Like, it's crazy. So it was that, yeah, but it made me feel seeing that vote and seeing some of the stuff, like some of the news today. Like, I feel like people have almost grown exhausted. Like, as if, and that is scary to me, right? And it's a little concerning. Um, I, I don't want us to be at odds with each other. I don't believe in that for America, right? Like, I don't believe that in America. Like, when Biden was president, right? Like, I didn't agree with everything he said, but fuck, like, hey, bro, it's Team America, whatever, you know? And, you know, the shit with Bernie and every other person, it's always Team America, man. And so I don't want us to always be at odds with each other, but if we don't have a healthy dose of arguing, you know, then what are we doing? Maybe I'm just toxic.
Some people don't think that arguing is healthy.
But
I'm gonna just tell you like this. I think arguing is healthy.
If it's productive.
Depends on how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And Damien can attest to this. I've waited to see how I argue with somebody to even see how I move around them after that.
What do you mean?
You probably don't remember the conversation. Well, I said I'm waiting for an argument to happen because I want to see how this person.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I thought you were saying like you. I get what you mean. Yes.
Because how somebody argues to me says a lot about their character.
How so?
Are we arguing about the actual situation? Are we taking low blows? Are we pulling shit that happened months ago? What? How are you raising your voice? Are we just arguing, going back and forth? Like, it says a lot about somebody's character. To me, it does, and because I think that when you're upset, it's a version of your vulnerability because you're showing a color that people don't see a lot. Unless you're a very argumentative person, then that's a different story. But yeah, I think arguing is very important.
I agree.
Interesting.
I don't know. Of course, it's like his gears are winding up right now.
I love arguing. I love arguing not for the sake of arguing, but to really get down to the core of an opinion or I guess if you want to argue like a matter of fact, I guess that would be based more on like, you know.
How do you argue a matter of fact though when there is a fact?
Because well, that's what I'm saying is like then there's like a more logical through line of like, well, we need to go through the history. Like if you're arguing like what happened, there's like gonna be history to that, you know what I mean? But a lot of the times we're arguing over opinion, and that is so hard to like, it's so nebulous.
So everybody just needs to shut the fuck up sometimes.
I think that's interesting. I think that's a very interesting take that you just had there, Save. And I'm trying to unpack that because it's true. When someone decides to argue, there's a sliver of their vulnerability that's being exposed. That's why they're losing a sense of control of their faculties, right? That's why they start pacing, their arms start swinging around, this, that, and the third, because there's a sliver of them that's exposed, that's generally not exposed, and it's causing all their fight or flight reactions to start kicking in. But it also does show a piece of their character, because we also got to remember, what is this argument about, right? Like, and I think for a cool part of our American history, right? I think arguments have been centered around, let's take before let's just say the 1900s, right? We argued about how we were going to establish our identity as a country, right? And, who we're going to be allied with on a global scheme, right? And I feel like from the 1900s up until now, we've dealt with every other social issue that you could possibly fucking come up with, bro. I mean, literally, just over the last few years, everyone got exhausted over this idea of like, bro, be a cat, be a fucking frog, be whatever the fuck you want. We don't care. Just shut up. Like, just I'm trying to watch the football game, bro. Like just shut up. Like, I don't care. I still drink Bud Light, bro. I don't care if whoever fucking Mulvaney, fucking Solvaney, Will Waney, Lakers of 5. All right. It don't matter. And I just feel like people have gotten to this point of exhaustion. And I feel like some arguments, and I will wholesomely agree with you, Save. I feel like as long as an argument is beneficial to the whole, then it's beneficial, period, 100%.
I think the outcome has to be beneficial.
Yes. Agreed. I think a positive argument always leads to a positive outcome for the total group, whether it's between one person, two people, or many, And I don't know. I've just gotten scared a little bit. Well, maybe I don't know if like the different teams are like gearing themselves up again for some new wave of bullshit that they want to start arguing about. Cause dude, bro, listen to the Bernie Sanders thing. He kind of nailed it on the head, and I was like, I'm glad somebody finally said it because I couldn't put my fucking like finger on it. But he's like,
I'm gonna watch it and we should chat about it.
Bro, please. Now this is weird. I didn't really understand that the media could do this. Before any and everything that you said as a news anchor, right, had to be facts. It had to be proven facts. I don't know if you guys remember the dude Dan Rathers, but when he had to make a statement, an apology to George W. Bush back in the day, and then he got fired off the air, and I didn't realize that it was because the guy. I mean, he just read off a teleprompter, right? But there was not too long ago, there was a law written to where the media doesn't have to tell the truth anymore. News stations and shit don't have to tell the truth. And now there's...
Is that true? What the fuck? Bernie Sanders said this?
Full clip. No. The whole media thing is that's a whole separate thing. Now, Bernie has a strong stance against the Trump administration having a lawsuit against, who was it? CBS, ABC, and then PBS, where it's NPR.
Can't be PBS because PBS is publicly owned.
Bro, there was a whole thing. It's crazy, right? Now, I knew about some lawsuit against, or NBC. There you go. I knew that there was a lawsuit because of the Kamala Harris interview that she did, where they caught them cutting and splicing pieces of the fucking thing together. Whatever, right? Whatever, right? Don't care about that part. But it's like, hey, dog, how are you suing them when you know this is what they're kind of allowed to do? Like, this is what you've been saying, bro. Like, fake news and all the bullshit. Like, they do this. There's laws behind it. Like, so why are you suing them? Now, Bernie makes the stance of saying, like, why sue them when you could just be like, nah, fuck that, right? He's like, I'm not going to sue, because even Joe Rogan asked him, he's like, you wouldn't sue somebody if they said something to you that was about you that was clearly a lie? He's like, they do it all the time. He's like, I'm not going to sue him. I was like, that is bars. That is, Bernie's that fucking guy, bro.
Look, as much as I wouldn't want Bernie to be a president, I think Bernie's gangster as fuck too, bro.
He's failed me these last couple of years, but I fucking love the old man, bro. Grandpa's the fucking man, bro.
Korpsx was so excited when he came to Oxnard, bro.
Bro. That's why I find it funny where everyone's like, he's a right-wing Bible thumping extreme. Like, no, I'm not, bro. Like,
who the fuck said? Oh, you. I was about to say, who the fuck says Bernie is right-wing?
No, bro. 8 years ago, I was a fucking socialist. Full blown, full clip.
Still hated women though.
I was an ally. 8 years ago, I was an ally, bro. I was a full blown ally, dude. I was like, no, us men, we need to be apologizing to these women, bro. We need to ask them to forgive us for the sins of our great grandpa and all the HR claims that never got properly filed. Sorry, ladies. And then I don't know what happened to me.
Times change.
Shit got weird.
What are you looking up, D?
We
don't have our normal correspondent here today, so now
where's Kelly at?
Yeah, Kelly, what the fuck? When you're listening on the playback, you got me looking this shit. No, I'm just kidding. No, we appreciate you, Kelly. Thank you.
What the
Thank
fuck?
You. I'm a little spoiled brat, okay? Thank you. We appreciate your work here. Our unpaid intern, Kelly. I'm reading. Essentially, it seems like they can't do that. But there has to be a significant. So it says news distortion must involve a significant event and not merely a minor or incidental aspect of news reporting. It's kind of hard. I mean, for people to get I think it's when it comes to distortion of things, it seems like there's a heavy reliance on intention of there has to be an intentional distortion of facts. So broadcasters are only subject to enforcement if it can be proven that they have deliberately distorted a factual news report. I mean, I'm reading excerpts of this thing.
Well, how much fact is there behind that though? You know what I mean? How can you prove that?
I mean, if there's emails, there's has to be some sort of deliberate attempt of
You don't think they know how to not keep a paper trail when that shit?
No, people are dumb as fuck. That's why in Discovery, people find the dumbest shit where they're you sent a text message saying that you're going to murder this person, your friend. Why the fuck would you do this? There was this murder case that I actually just listened to, and the son who murdered his best friend, in his notes app wrote down how his best friend died, deliberately, he gurgled on his own blood type shit. And the notes were dated and obviously in the background you could see when these notes are inputted, and they're around the time of when he would have died. You're like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? He didn't even send it to anybody. It was just in his notes app. His father found it, and his father was creeped out, and he was like, oh fuck, my son is kind of crazy. And so yeah, that shit was people are stupid. People are arrogant because they don't think they're gonna get caught, and then you do. The brain can only hold so many lies.
Yeah, bro. Hey, everything done in the dark always comes out in the light, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the truest statements I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
One of the true.
But it doesn't. I'd have to look through this whole thing. But I'm looking at the FCC.gov broadcast news distortion website. It doesn't look like.
I literally just had it up, but it had to do with some Munt Act of 1948. I just remember reading it. And so pretty much what your biggest problem was that it put more of the strain on government funded news outlets, right? To have to be more accurate. Dissemination of information, blah, blah, blah. That to me, the whole thing is murky waters when you start getting into, well, what is malinformation? I think that's why they started using these bullshit fucking terms, misinformation and malinformation and all the fucking nations. And then I think where it gets weird and I don't know. I just have an issue, right? When you have, because I fucking love PBS, right?
It's gone now.
Yeah, I love
so
PBS, right?
Big rip.
But when you say, okay, but they're not held to the same media standards as these groups, and these guys can behave in a certain way, but not these groups, but they're still supposed to be doing the same thing. I don't like that.
It's privately owned though. It's different. Or publicly owned. I mean, it's different.
if it's publicly owned, I think that's even more cause for it to be kind of a little more aligned, don't you think?
No. Yes, that's what I'm saying. PBS would probably be more truthful because it's publicly owned,
No, see, that's
whereas
where it gets
something big
great.
like CBS or NBC or CNN or Fox, who are owned by these big fucking corporations,
Allegedly however,
allegedly,
because I had this
the Rothschilds, allegedly.
this whole AI fucking Google thing I was going down right now. It's just weird, bro. Like I miss the days of like Vice News, right? Like where Vice News was like this super independent fucking get the news just as you got it right then and there. Like you know
World
what I'm
Star.
saying? Oh my god,
World Star, the fighting channel.
fucking great.
That's not all it was.
That's all I know about.
I don't know. I just hope I just hope people aren't like exhausted from like fighting about all the actual bullshit like who cares, bro? Like I don't know. I think we've said it enough times. Like let people just live the way that they want to live. So let's stop arguing about that shit, right? Let's argue about some stuff that's actually going to put us forward now, right? Because I think I don't know. When I open up Twitter, it's like, huh,
Gotta stop doing that sometimes.
it's mighty quiet in here. It's mighty quiet in here.
It's crazy.
Mighty,
This guy
mighty
Elon
quiet.
pumping out tweets, fucking inhuman levels.
Oh man, that was fun. That was a fun time.
That was
I don't
funny.
even. We never talked about that.
Bro, he backtracked. Boo. Keep
I
the
know.
tweets up.
I saw
bitch.
he like
What the
deleted it,
fuck?
and I was like, "Oh my god!"
And
What
then
are
Bro,
we
there's no
doing?
way the richest man in the world and are pussyfooted. What the fuck?
And then there's a war that erupts in Iran right afterwards. I was like, hey, who's doing it,
I
bro?
don't
Who's
know. I don't know if this is true, but I heard supposedly Iran had moved a lot of their like nuclear
Move the
stuff.
mic closer to your face.
Oh my bad. Iran had like moved a lot of their nuclear stuff. I don't know if they're weapons.
Oh, they did. I just read an article
I
about
don't
it.
believe that. I don't believe that at all.
I just read an article that said
Wait, but
that.
why would they not? I was literally thinking as this dude is on True Social saying what he's gonna do before he does it. I'm like, how the fuck would you do this?
I just read an article that
So stupid.
that we just
I don't believe
damaged a
that.
little bit of their equipment, and now it just set them back a couple months. Not
You know what that
didn't
sounds
destroy
like?
everything that we needed to.
You want to know what that really sounds like? But it really, really sounds like.
Whatever you're about to say is cope. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say it's gonna sound mad crazy.
Mad
Sounds like
copium.
it sounds like Netanyahu propaganda, bro.
Yo. It's just
It's
just
been
common sense though.
just
like-
it's months out. It could be months out. That's what he has said since 1995, bro.
No, but it's like
we
but
can rewind
what-
the game tape.
But the chain of events isn't like outlandish. It's just if Cisco's telling me, "Yo, I'm about to go steal all of Damien's streaming shit, and I'm gonna do it in like I don't know, I'm thinking
3
about
hours.
doing it," and and I'm like, I should probably take this shit like to my dad's or something. And I take it over and I leave my camera here. It's like I fucking stole your camera, and I'm like, okay, bro, that was like
Yeah.
a $200 camera. I mean, I can. Sucks, I have to buy a new one, but like you didn't steal all my shit.
Yeah,
That's like
but it's
thousands of
not that
dollars.
easy. It's not that easy to transport nuclear.
No, but when
Like,
you have like a governmental
enriched
body
uranium.
who can do it, like I'm not saying it's easy, but
They
like,
probably have other sites too that we don't know about.
yeah, and they probably have precautions to move it in case of emergency.
I don't know. The girl,
But we
I did
bombed
see the
torpedoes.
lady Levitt made a statement saying that like that it's some kind of disinformation from some
Like
like
you don't think
White
you don't
House
think
correspondent leaker.
you don't think if another country was like their leader was tweeting like we're about to bomb the White House and shit, and like we're gonna do it in 2 days. You don't think the president is going to be either out of that fucking White House or in
He
a
would've been gone
bunker's
within 5 minutes.
bunker, and then they're like, and then they bomb the fuck out of it, and people are like, huh, "You didn't even get the president, dumbass." Yeah, no shit, you didn't get the president. Yeah.
What is it? The IRF or whatever the fuck was making tweets talking about that they were gonna attack New York in 48 hours.
No, it was either the New York or LA. They wouldn't have made it to New York anyways. Let's just be real.
Let's just be real.
But also,
The
are we
missiles would have
like,
been
are we thinking
done.
that like the government didn't? If they took that seriously, you don't think the government would have been like, oh, like let's prep, make sure like some shit doesn't pop off, make sure our people are good.
Now we
Some
already
defense
prepped
units.
though. We're already
But
prepped.
that's
That's
what I'm
why I
saying. Like if
believe
we're
what
not,
happened there. I
yeah, if
believe
we're,
that we didn't get everything. I believe it.
yeah.
Hmm.
It just makes sense. Like yes, yeah, our guy's a fucking dipshit who's gonna be like, yo, we're sending nades.
I wouldn't see.
This guy, bro.
This is my problem, right? This is my bigger problem with accepting that statement. Is if that is true, then we confirm Iran to be liars, and their capabilities for not only storing enriched uranium but transporting it is at and their mole whatever leakage of information that they have on our, because bro, saying that you're going to bomb somebody and then violating OPSEC is two different things, right? And so they flew in on B-2 bomber stealth jets full. Those things are indetectable, allegedly,
Yeah, but
right?
yeah, but we're not talking about like some guy saying like, "Oh, the U.S. is gonna bomb them." We're talking about the leader of the country.
You know, like that's still fine, because you know, like a soldier, when they're getting ready to deploy, they can't say when or where. Just we're going.
Sure, I mean, sure, yeah, but we're not talking about a soldier. We're talking about the leader of the country.
So even the leader of but you know they're going on deployment, right? So the leader of the free world can still say, "I'm gonna bomb them. Yep, gonna bomb them. Gonna bomb them."
Yes,
But unless he puts a time in place, right? You never know. Those B-2s could have already been in the air when he's making those statements. Some people allude to that, right? Because if you actually look at the timeline of everything, now I don't even want to get into that part, but because that's just that part pisses me off. But if I accept the idea that their nuclear program and that their ears inside the White House are that advanced, then the claims from Israel about Iran and the claims from Donald Trump about Iran are true, and I don't want them to be true. I don't want we can fucking get into do all the other bullshit, and I'll debate with you all day about it. Getting into another fucking conflict over there is, I'm not doing that. I'm cool. And I feel like there's still a good group of.
At the end of the day, it wasn't about conflict. It needs to be done. They said they had fucking nuclear plans. They said that they were gonna fucking interfere. If we interfered, they were gonna fuck us up. It just at the end of the day, I hate that it happened, but it just needed to happen. Like, we gotta stop being world police, but because we're gonna fucking pull our dick out and show if you're gonna fucking threaten us.
Why did that need to happen? That doesn't mean
because they're not even supposed to have nuclear weapons in the first place.
This guy's the art of the deal. Go make a deal. What the fuck is happening? You pulled out of the deal that Obama had made in 2018.
No. We made he made the Abraham Accords before he left. Before the Abraham Accords were set in all kinds of shit, and then it's been haywire, right? So there's a lot of truth of the statement of like they've been just fighting for so fucking long they don't even know what they're doing anymore, right? And you get into the whole Bible thumpers and they say that it's a biblical conflict, right? Like it'll never stop. But I think it's bullshit. Allegedly, right? Like I think it's bullshit. I think the dude Netanyahu, there's problems.
But you can't say you're gonna fucking use your nuclear power against the United States of America and think nothing's gonna fucking happen to you. It shouldn't have happened the way that it happened. Mm-hmm. I will agree with that statement, but it was going to happen regardless. Because the motherfucker just yapping his gums, and yeah,
Trump's good with the cell phone, bro. He can call him up. Apparently, he calls.
Well, there's
places. I don't know. I mean,
the monkey in the room with that whole thing still for me is one person says I didn't say for these guys to attack them. The other group says, no, you did say it was okay for us to attack these people. And I need to know who's lying, right?
Just gotta pull up the tweets.
I need to know. I need to see that text
like Jordan said, how do you play Putin's claims of their scientists being there and the U.S. better not get involved? It's different. There was a ceasefire that went through. with Russia and Ukraine.
He claims his scientists are also in Israel as well. So like this is where it gets weird, right? And the I in the BRICS nations is Iran. And the BRICS,
We don't fucking talk.
we went over time.
45 minutes.
We gotta listen. We'll listen to the Bernie Sanders episode.
I will
I
listen
can't
to
speak
John
about
Bellion
Save.
first.
Okay.
What? What'd you say?
I said I can't speak on Save because you have
No,
to
no.
listen to anything.
I will
we've
listen to
given
the
him.
John Bellion thing. I just been hella busy, bro. Like yeah, my schedule's been all fucked up this last month. But
No, you're good. I'm
gotta
just
start
pulling
setting some
everything.
boundaries, bro.
Yeah, bro, set some boundaries.
apparently,
Time for
dog. Apparently,
yourself. Read a book. Maybe go on.
I actually have a book that I'm about to start reading.
Just got a new book.
Oh, I love that book. I love that book. The Alchemist, sick ass book. Book of Sit.
It was
books.
it was a gift, and I'm gonna start reading it. That's why it's right here to remind me that I need to pick it up. And
You actually should read. That's a good book. I like that book.
I think you'll enjoy The Alchemist for sure.
A lot of people read it in high school. I never got this book in high school.
I never read it either.
Okay,
I read chunks of it in high school, and it's good. It's very esoteric if you take
I
it.
have been requested to read it, and then once it was given to me, a lot of people are like, "You will actually really enjoy this book." So
I can see what book, yeah.
it might be one of my favorites if people think that I will like it.
8 out of 10. Good book. Solid. read.
Okay. Thank you guys for another beautiful episode of the Usual Tuesday podcast. I don't see us missing another week anytime soon. I hope not. But thank you guys so much. Oh, actually, I was talking about my great friend and mentor, Michael Kozakowski, recently. And I know Putch has always brought it up. So just remember, guys, think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspirational? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Anytime you open your mouth or you're getting ready to argue or you want to bring up a point that you think is necessary or whatever, just think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it necessary? Or is it inspirational? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And it'll change your life. As Putch. It's definitely changed my life. I'm sure it's definitely changed Putch's life. He talks about it all the time. So just keep that in mind as I leave here. I know I never say inspirational shit. I leave that up to Putch, but I was talking about cause this week and missed that, man. So as always, you guys stay healthy, stay happy. I love you. Keep smiling, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
That was sick. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate everybody in here. Everybody who's watching on the playback. Thank you to these two beautiful co-hosts being with me, having this great conversation. Yeah. Anybody watching?
Just remember, the big ones don't always hurt. We don't need to hear it.
Yeah, we really don't. Just say it is big and lie. It's okay to lie.
It's okay to lie to us sometimes.
Say the haircut looks sick as fuck. Hype us up a little bit. You know. I was gonna go crazy. Never mind. Thank you so much.
Say the next one. Say it. Go crazy. Go crazy. I want to hear it.
I was gonna say, even fake a gag. You know.
Yeah.
If you fake a gag, I promise we will fall in love immediately.
Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Whether you're here live or you're watching the playback, you're here for a second, a minute, an hour, the whole thing. I appreciate you nonetheless. Thank you as always. Be safe. Have a good one. Peace.
Korpscollection.com. Big Corpse. All of that. My co-hosts. Save one. 0%. The lovely, the wonderful, the powerful. Yeah, man. You know what? Another thing that Kozakowski had said that fucking really got me. I remember we were having a like banquet buffet thing in the dealership, and him and his buddy spoke, and it was one of his guys from Pittsburgh, and was saying about how California, like he said something about California like was outside of its like spiritualness, right? Like that it had just kind of lost its way, and that he was hoping to bring a feeling of like togetherness. I remember I was talking to him as we're all fucking functioning around and shit, and I was just kind of like, "Yo, man, that's really dope. Like, I like that. Like, I like to be around people who can make you feel like a part of something bigger than just who you are." Yeah, I think powerful men command those type of rooms, and he's a good guy, and I hope he's doing well. But yeah, Kozakowski, if you ever watch this podcast, I hope you know you're loved. But on that note, I will say Romans 6:14 is, "For sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under law, but under grace." Yeah, I try to remember that at times, like Kaz. Yeah, he made you remember that you don't always fall under law, man. That sometimes you fall under grace. So be graceful out there, people. Yeah, have a good day, week, month of your life. Until next time, stay motivated.
Bang.
Right.
I will be live after this, guys. So if you guys follow my gaming page, I will be live.
Jump over to saves. Jump over to save stream.
Man.
All right, boys. Love ya.
Saves.
You guys take
Peace
care.